I just watched this movie called, I don't know, it's called Joker or something. Nobody's been talking about it, so I thought I'd make a video about this very obscure movie. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Turnout. I am your host, Aloy. Be sure to check out usaaudiences.com so you can get special event and movie screening invites once this whole pandemic is gone. And today, we're going to be talking about Joker. And yeah, I kind of made a joke at the beginning that, like, oh, nobody's talking about it, but really, in essence, everybody has talked about this movie. I kind of wanted to come and do my own review of Joker. Not only have I had a few requests from some of you, but, after watching it, I believe it's one of those movies that really deserves to be dissected and taken apart. And, you know, there's so many things happening in this movie that I actually watched it with my wife who works in social work. She works with, you know, kids and she's got degrees and all that stuff. And, you know, she was basically watching it and diagnosing this man. And so essentially, if you've not seen Joker, it is a movie about the kind of the origins of the Joker, who is Batman's most famous, you know, enemy that he's ever fought ever in the comics. I mean, and the Joker himself is he's a super iconic character in comics and movies and just everywhere. Like, nobody doesn't know the Joker. My 4-year-old knows who the Joker is, like, and that's from Lego, you know, Lego Batman. There's Joker all over that. So, like, the Joker is a part of pop culture. So, to take this character and kind of do, like, a real deep dive into, I guess, what, like, the psychology of this whole movie was kind of interesting. And I'm gonna try and not give away too much, I guess, for those people who were like me and still hadn't seen it, because it did take me a while. I didn't go into the theaters to see it, and even though it's been on HBO for like a month now, I actually didn't sit down to watch it until my wife said, I really want to watch that Joker, and I'm like, I guess we probably should, just so we can be part of the conversation and I know what's happening. It was, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this up front, it was just a sad movie. I know a lot of people, like, were scared that it was going to come out. The movie is full of, you know, white male rage, and, you know, there was a whole lot of, like, this is irresponsible to make this movie, but I didn't get that. What I got out of this movie was that I was watching it, and I just felt very sad for this character. I think that was the problem that I had, is I'm not supposed to be able to sympathize with the Joker. The Joker is supposed to be mad beyond reason. The Joker is the kind of character that you should not be able to identify with. So to make it so that, like, oh, I guess I can see where, like, no, oh my gosh, that's like the worst thing ever. And that could be what I think people were really, you know, because the Joker is a homicidal, you know, killer who laughs and he thinks it's all funny, and he's got a demented kind of mind and viewpoint in the world, and so does this guy. So here's the interesting thing, though. Once the movie was over, I was trying to figure out how much of it was in his mind and how much of it wasn't, because I would say the majority of it was not in his mind, but they did show with the inclusion of some interactions with one of the characters that he's definitely, you know, schizophrenic to the point where he can imagine, you know, somebody there having conversations with him, and having sex with him. So, you know, the fact that he can kind of imagine these really big things happening and they feel real to him then makes me question how much of this movie was real and how much of it was not. But what I'm going to say, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and just give this, you know, it's depressing, guys. It's a depressing movie. You're not going to watch this movie and feel pumped afterwards. You're not going to watch this movie and you're not going to feel disturbed. You're not going to feel like anything but just like depression. And that's what I got out of it. And we actually watched it earlier today, and I had to take some hours before I was able to sit down in front of the camera and, like, really talk about it. So I do suggest watching it, especially if, like, you're into psychology, if you're, like, in school for social work. Like, there's so many things happening with this movie that, like, you can spot them and you can use them in, like, dissertations and stuff. Like, it's a really, really good, you know, presentation overall. Now, getting into some spoilers. So there you go. There's like that's the non-spoiler part. I'm going to start actually talking about some spoilers. So Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is very, very good. What I will say is that I thought that his portrayal was... I didn't buy it at the beginning, and then by the end I was completely sold. I think that he did a really good job. At the beginning of the movie, we find out that he's got a condition that makes him laugh at weird times, which I thought was interesting to go ahead and throw that in and make the fact that the Joker laughs all the time kind of part of a medical thing. It's just one other layer there. But his laugh at the beginning of the movie was a laugh cry. Like he was laughing, but he didn't want to be laughing. By the end of the movie, he has a more pronounced Joker laugh because he is now actually taking glee and finds what he is doing funny, and what he is doing is murdering people on live TV. And what I also noticed in this movie is that this movie is entirely a nurture versus nature movie. And this movie is saying that nurture reigns. It doesn't matter who you are. If you grew up like this guy did, you were gonna be messed up. We find out that, he was adopted and like he was abused as a child, and and his mom had mental issues. There was just a lot of stuff going on that, you could tell that he was disconnected from reality and that he needed something, but I don't even know what that thing would have been. I think that he might have been a lost cause. I hate to say that anybody would be a lost cause, but I don't know what could have been done differently, except that maybe people could have been nice to this guy. Because that is also one thing that I noticed, was that nobody was nice to this guy. And that's kind of what this movie is about. It's about, the Joker rose up and fought against this like oppressive, angry city, which is Gotham. This is around the time, Crime Alley, Bruce Wayne is a child. That's around the time that his father was killed, his father and his mother. So like this is like the golden age of crime for Gotham. And the Joker as Arthur is also a victim of all of this. Until, he kills some people and actually seems to start a movement with people dressing up in clown masks, and it starts a class war in the city of Gotham, which I thought was pretty interesting because I've watched a lot of serial killer, documentaries and stuff, and him killing those 3 people who were like affluent people, it started the events that then became the riots and the movement. But he himself was not technically the reason that it all started. It was something in the subconscious of people that started propelling it. But because he's essentially a serial killer and he's got that level of narcissism, it definitely became that he was like, I made this happen. And that is one of the weirdest things. Like, you could just see the glee of what he was doing. So I was told that like Joaquin Phoenix won an award or something for his portrayal of the Joker. I think he completely deserved it. I thought that this movie was really, really good. The music was great. It like the music mostly was seamless in the movie and made you feel the emotions that you were supposed to be feeling in the moment and whatnot. I think when he went on to Murray's talk show at the end, right before he killed Murray, that's a whole thing. Again, these are spoilers, so if you're still watching, I warned you already. But the song that they played, like the house band played, as he was coming from backstage, was Smile. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's like the perfect Joker song. If you don't know the song Smile, it's a Charlie Chaplin song. It's been covered a million times by a million different people. And it's basically, the world is crap, but just smile. And, you'll be okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this is what we're watching. I can't believe it. This movie was just, again, so sad. I'm happy I watched it. I don't think I could ever watch it again. And there's also one more thing about the whole what's in his mind and what's not in his mind. We were introduced to the idea of his neighbor. It was a woman in the elevator that he had a moment of interaction with, and then she ended up becoming like his girlfriend. But then later on we get a scene where he's in her apartment. She's just like, I think you're Arthur from down the hall. Can you please leave my house? So it's like, oh my gosh, all of that stuff was all in his mind. So at the end of the movie, he's in the car, he's watching the riots, and his car gets hit with another car, and then the clowns all come out and they bring him out, and then he dances and he is the center of attention and everybody loves him. And I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting and that's really creepy. But then the movie ends with him locked up. And I'm like, well, hold on here. Where was the point where he got caught? Because that's kind of the question here. Because there shouldn't have been a point where he got caught because he was out. And why didn't he just go with his other, brothers and sisters in clown masks and start a whole revolution? The next scene is him in the hospital. So to me, I almost think that everything that happened after he got hit by the car was like him, he zonked out. And then the rest of it was just not him. So he was not the center of attention. The rioters didn't treat him like a messiah. And one more thing is that I really thought that it was interesting that this was the night that the Joker was born, and also the night that Batman was born, because it was also the same night that Bruce's parents were killed in Crime Alley. So those are just so many different things that I really like that were happening in there. The problem, I think, with this movie is that that's not the Joker. What I believe is that that is a proto-Joker. And by proto-Joker, anybody who watches Gotham knows what a proto-Joker is. It's these people who are kind of Joker-esque, but the Joker is the Joker, right? So it's kind of these people who might have gone on to inspire the Joker. And that's kind of what I think Arthur is. I don't think that he's the actual Joker. I think that he did all of this stuff and somebody saw it on TV, like Heath Ledger's Joker saw it on TV and was just like, that looks like fun, and then there you go, it's there. That's what I see. The movie was good. The movie was definitely good. I don't see why everybody kind of was in an uproar about it coming out. I mean, if it was a bad movie, it would have come out and then nobody would have seen it because it was bad. It ended up being a pretty good movie. And honestly, the movie's been out for a while, so it didn't change the fabric of reality. It didn't destroy our world. The movie ended up coming out, and it was darn good, but it was sad. It's kind of like Requiem for a Dream. I've only ever watched that movie once because when I was done watching it, I felt depressed and in the dark place. And I feel that way with Joker, which by all accounts is a good thing because they set out to do what they wanted to do, was to make a very unique Joker movie. But honestly, it could have just been called Arthur. I mean, I guess it couldn't have been because that's Dudley Moore's movie, but it could have just been called Arthur and not set in Gotham and not have any connection to Batman or anything like that. And it still would have been an amazing movie. So there are my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know about all of that, and we'll continue the discussion down there. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification if you want more reviews and videos from the Turnout. I think my reviews are going to probably be more along the lines of something like this going forward, a little bit less structured, where I can just kind of talk about the movie and tell you the good things and the bad things. And I think that that's probably what we're going to be doing going forward. I think it's simpler, and I think it's a little bit more fun for me to not have to have so much structure to it. But anyway, I hope that you did like that. Otherwise, I am your host, Aloy. This has been the Turnout. Thanks for showing up.